Hey everyone, I'm Sarah, 15, and I live in a fancy Chicago suburb. My life took a crazy turn when I had to deal with some serious family drama. It all started one afternoon while I was sketching in my favorite armchair by the window. I heard the familiar sound of Dad's car pulling up in the driveway. Excited, I dashed downstairs, eager to show him my latest artwork. Dad, you're home early. Look at this new piece I'm working on. I beamed, holding up the sketch. Dad, or James as everyone else calls him, gave me a quick glance and a half-hearted smile. "That's nice, sweetheart," he said, barely looking. "But listen, I've got a surprise for you." My heart raced. Was this finally about the art camp I'd been begging to go to? But instead of an art camp, in walked a tall, leggy blonde with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "Sarah, this is Veronica. We've been seeing each other, and she's going to be staying with us for a while," Dad announced. I forced a smile, but inside, I was freaking out. It had been just Dad and me since Mom passed away 3 years ago. We were a team, a duo. But now, fast forward a couple of weeks, and Veronica had completely taken over our house. She was redecorating, rearranging furniture, and worst of all, taking up all of Dad's time. One afternoon after school, I was venting to my best friend Zoe in the kitchen. I swear, Zoe, it's like I don't even exist anymore. Yesterday, I tried to talk to Dad about my art project, and Veronica interrupted to show him some dumb modeling photos. Zoe rolled her eyes. "That sucks, Sar. Have you talked to your dad about it?" I tried. I sighed. But he just keeps saying I need to give her a chance and make her feel welcome. It's like he's forgotten I live here too. Just then, Veronica waltzed into the kitchen wearing one of Dad's shirts, just his shirt. "Oh, hi, Sarah. Didn't realize you'd be home so early. Your father and I were just napping," she said, her smirk making my stomach turn. I cringed internally. "This is my friend Zoe. We're working on a school project." Veronica barely looked at Zoe before turning back to me. "That's nice, dear. By the way, I moved some of your art supplies to the garage. They were cluttering up the living room. Hope you don't mind." And with that, she was gone, leaving me fuming. Zoe squeezed my arm sympathetically. She's the worst. Later that night, I decided to try one more time to reconnect with Dad. I found him in his study, going over paperwork. "Hey, Dad, got a minute?" He looked up, distracted. "Sure, honey. What's up?" "I was wondering if we could have dinner together tomorrow night, just the two of us, like we used to." He hesitated, and I knew what was coming. "Oh, Sarah, I'm sorry. Veronica and I have reservations at that new French place downtown. Maybe another time." I nodded, swallowing my disappointment. As I turned to leave, he called out, "Actually, Sarah, there's something important we need to discuss. Family meeting tomorrow after school." "Okay." I agreed, but a knot was already forming in my stomach. Something told me this meeting wasn't going to be good. The next afternoon, I walked into the living room to find Dad and Veronica already seated, looking way too serious. "Sarah, honey, sit down. We need to talk," Dad said. I perched on the edge of the couch, bracing myself. "What's going on?" Dad cleared his throat. "We've decided it's best for you to attend Oak Ridge Academy. It's an excellent boarding school upstate." My jaw dropped. Boarding school. But why? "I don't want to go." "It's a wonderful opportunity, Sarah." Veronica chimed in, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. "You'll get a top-notch education." Suddenly, a memory flashed through my mind from last week. I had overheard them talking in the kitchen. "James, darling, I'm worried about Sarah. She's always around. Don't you think she's ruining our romance?" "What do you suggest, Veronica?" Dad had asked. "Well, there's this fabulous boarding school. I had heard enough." Back in the present, I stood up, shaking. "This was your idea, wasn't it?" I pointed at Veronica. "You want to get rid of me." "Sarah, that's enough." Dad snapped. "This decision is final." I ran to my room, slamming the door behind me. Grabbing my phone, I dialed the only person who might help, Aunt Lisa. "Aunt Lisa, please, you have to talk to Dad. He wants to send me away." "Oh, sweetie," she sighed. "I'll try. But you know how stubborn Dad can be." Over the next few days, I begged, pleaded, and bargained, promising to stay out of their way, to be the perfect daughter. But nothing worked. Before I knew it, I was standing in front of Oak Ridge Academy, a huge, imposing building that looked more like a prison than a school. "This is for the best, Sarah. Dad said, avoiding my eyes. You'll see. Veronica didn't even bother to get out of the car. I watched them drive away, feeling more alone than I ever had in my life. The first few weeks at Oak Ridge were a blur: strict rules, demanding classes, and relentless homesickness. My roommate Emily was nice enough, but I missed my friends, my room, and my art supplies. On one particularly bad day, after getting chewed out by my history teacher for daydreaming, I texted Dad. "I hate it here. Please let me come home." His response came hours later. "You'll adjust. Give it time." I stared at my phone, fighting back tears. That's when I overheard some girls nearby gossiping. "Did you hear about the new girl? Her dad shipped her off so he could shack up with his girlfriend." "No way. That's so messed up." "Yeah, I heard the girlfriend's barely older than us." I felt my face burning with shame and anger. Is that what everyone thought? That I'd been tossed aside for Dad's midlife crisis? That night, lying in my narrow bed and listening to Emily's soft snores, I made a decision. If Dad and Veronica wanted me gone so badly, fine. I'd show them I didn't need them. I'd excel at this school, make my own way, and never rely on them again. Months flew by, and slowly, I started to find my footing at Oak Ridge. Don't get me wrong, I still miss home, but I was determined to make the best of it. One day in the cafeteria, a girl with bright blue hair plopped down next to me. "You have a new kid, right?" "I'm Mia," she said. I nodded, taking in her rebellious vibe. "Sarah, nice to meet you." "Don't let this place get you down," Mia said, gesturing around. "It's all a game. Once you figure out the rules, you can bend them." Mia introduced me to her friend, Tyler, a computer genius with a heart of gold. The three of us became inseparable, and suddenly, Oak Ridge didn't seem so bad. I threw myself into my studies, determined to prove I belonged there. My grades soared, especially in art class. Miss Rodriguez, my art teacher, took me under her wing. "Sarah, your work is exceptional," she said one day, examining my latest painting. "Have you considered entering the National Young Artist Competition?" I hesitated. "I don't know. It's pretty prestigious." "Exactly," Miss Rodriguez smiled. "And you have the talent to win it." Meanwhile, things at home were strange. Dad's calls became less frequent, and when we did talk, he seemed distracted. Veronica's voice was always in the background, a constant reminder of why I was at Oak Ridge. One afternoon, I was heading to Miss Rodriguez's class when I overheard two staff members talking. "It's the third month James Henderson has missed the tuition payment. If this continues, we'll have to discuss Sarah's enrollment status." My heart raced. Dad was having money problems. That didn't make sense. His real estate business had always been successful. I confided in Mia and Tyler. "Guys, something's not right. Can you help me dig into this?" I asked. Tyler cracked his knuckles. "Leave it to me. If there's dirt to be found, I'll find it." For weeks, we pored over public records and financial reports. Tyler's computer skills were a godsend, helping us navigate the complex world of business finances. "Sarah, look at this," Tyler said one night, pointing at his laptop screen. "These numbers don't add up. There are inconsistencies in your dad's business reports." Mia leaned in. "Yeah, and check out these purchases: designer clothes, fancy restaurants, spa treatments. Is your dad suddenly into self-care?" I felt sick. That has to be Veronica. She's bleeding him dry. Despite the drama unfolding at home, I channeled all my emotions into my art. Miss Rodriguez pushed me harder than ever, guiding me through every step as I prepared for the National Young Artists Competition. The night before the submission deadline, I put the finishing touches on my piece, a haunting portrait that captured both the pain of betrayal and the strength found in independence. Weeks later, Miss Rodriguez burst into the art room, waving an envelope. "Sarah, you did it. You won first place in the National Young Artists Competition." The room erupted in cheers as my classmates congratulated me. My phone buzzed with a news alert. I froze when I saw the headline: "Unknown teen prodigy wins National Art Competition." Judges stunned. Spring break finally arrived, and I headed home with a mix of excitement and dread. As the cab pulled up to our house, I knew something was off. The lawn was overgrown, and Dad's car looked like it hadn't been washed in months. Inside the house was even worse. Takeout containers littered the kitchen, and a layer of dust covered everything. Dad emerged from his study looking haggard, older than I remembered. "Sarah, I didn't think you were coming home for break. I dropped my bag. Surprise. What's going on here, Dad? He ran a hand through his thinning hair. It's nothing, just been busy with work. How's school? I wasn't buying it. Cut the act, Dad. I know about the missed tuition payments. What's really going on? His face fell. It's just a temporary cash flow issue. I've got it under control. That's when Veronica sauntered in, dripping in jewelry and designer clothes. Oh, Sarah, you're here. How nice. I couldn't hold back anymore. Nice clothes, Veronica. Must have cost a fortune, especially considering Dad can't even pay my school fees. Dad's eyes widened. Sarah, that's enough. But I wasn't done. I pulled out the documents Tyler had helped me compile. No, Dad, it's not. Look at this. Your accounts are being drained, and it's not just because of business troubles. He waved his hand dismissively. You don't understand business, Sarah. This is adult stuff. Oh yeah? Then explain these transactions. I pointed to a series of large withdrawals. Designer boutiques, spa retreats, jewelry stores. Unless you've developed some expensive new hobbies, I'm guessing this is all Veronica. Veronica's face twisted into an ugly sneer. You little brat, you have no idea what you're talking about. Don't I? I pulled out my phone and showed them the banking app. Did you really think I wouldn't notice? You added yourself to Dad's accounts. You've been siphonning money for months. Dad's face drained of color. Veronica, is this true? She tried to backpedal, but the evidence was undeniable. As the truth unraveled, Dad seemed to age years before my eyes. I'm so sorry, Sarah, he whispered. I've been such a fool. Just then, the doorbell rang. 2 police officers stood outside, along with Aunt Lisa. James Henderson, one officer asked. We need to ask you some questions about financial irregularities in your business. Dad looked shocked. What? Who reported this? Aunt Lisa stepped forward. I did, James. When Sarah told me what was going on, I couldn't stand by and watch you destroy everything. As the officers began questioning Dad, Veronica made a break for it. She grabbed her purse and bolted for the door. But Aunt Lisa was quicker. She stuck out her foot, sending Veronica sprawling. The aftermath was a whirlwind. Veronica was arrested for fraud, and Dad faced serious legal consequences for financial mismanagement. As for me, I made the tough decision to move in with Aunt Lisa. 2 years later, I'm thriving at a top art school, my talent finally getting the recognition it deserves. As I stand in front of my latest exhibition, I reflect on how far I've come. That scared, betrayed girl from Oak Ridge feels like a lifetime ago. Now I'm stronger, wiser, and finally free from the toxic people who tried to hold me back. What would you have done if you were in Sarah's shoes? Would you have forgiven your father for choosing his girlfriend over you and sending you away to boarding school? Or would you have cut ties completely? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your experiences and perspectives could help others facing similar situations. If you enjoyed this story of betrayal, resilience, and sweet justice, don't forget to hit that like button. For more compelling stories exploring complex family dynamics and personal growth, subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us bring these narratives to life. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.